Yo, what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In case you guys don't know who I am, my name is Christian Compion. I do high ticket sales for a living. Today's video, I'm going to be going over setting authority and taking frame from the get-go as soon as you open up your camera on your Google Meets and Zoom call for your high ticket sales closing calls. So the reason I'm making this video is because the past couple months, I've truly came to a realization of how important it is for you to actually set frame and authority the right way from the get-go, because I've been talking to a lot more higher level prospects in the B2B industry specifically. So I actually had to learn the hard way, unfortunately, as to how to properly set frame and authority. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into what I'm noticing in terms of what's working and what's not working when it comes to setting frame and authority, but also some things that you guys could implement that literally don't even involve like tactics or word tracks that also add to the value of how well you're actually able to set frame and authority. So without further ado, I'm pretty much just gonna hop straight into this video. So one thing I'm noticing as well, which I've been hearing a lot from a lot of guys just in the sales industry, especially like a lot of mentors and coaches, is when reviewing sales calls, a lot of the time, believe it or not, you can tell whether this prospect was closed within the first 30 seconds of the call. What do I mean by that? You can tell based off of the energy of the closer, based off of the energy of the prospect, based off what types of words are coming out the closer's mouth out of the get-go. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of power within the first 30 seconds of the call that could potentially be the most important 30 seconds of the entire call, because it really sets the frame and authority throughout the rest of the call on maintaining it, because it's a lot easier to maintain authority rather than having to quote unquote regroup it like the further you get into the sales process. Matter of fact, it's even harder to do it by then, which is why it's super important that you're maintaining frame and authority in the first 30 seconds. That's the first thing I wanted to let you guys know, is that the first 30 seconds probably the most crucial part in the sales process when it comes to setting frame and setting authority throughout the rest of the call, so that prospects aren't trying to speak over you. They're not trying to ask you questions, and they're looking at you as the authority, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to go over. The second thing is what should you be doing before your call, right? So as of now, I have like a pre-call checklist. It's sort of like a routine I say out loud before my sales call each and every single time. It helps me stay more present. It helps me take on this sort of like embodiment of the person I want to become: more abundant, more curious, more detached from the sale type of person. And all those characteristics that I'm speaking out into existence right before I hop on the call are character traits that the person I want to become is embodying in the future. Reason I do that is because it's almost like a reset button for me personally, to almost like, yeah, basically like short-term memory, right? Whether I pipped a guy or whether he payment did, whatever the case may be, it's in the past. It is what it is. Now I'm on to the next call. You know what I mean? Because it's so unfair for me to hold on to what I just did in the past, to let that affect me moving on to my future calls. That's very selfish. So I truly believe that whatever it is for you guys need to have some sort of pre-call. I don't want to call it like ritual, because that just sounds like kind of weird. Pre-call routine where you guys are reading something, you guys are doing something, there has to be something that you need to do before every sales call, especially if you're hopping on 6, 7, 8, 9. Some closers even take 10 back-to-back sales calls. And there's no closer in the world, once you start taking on that volume of closers, of calls, doesn't get burnt out without some sort of pre-call sort of routine. Because if you're just hopping from call to call to call without any sort of transitional, even if it's just a few seconds before your call, then your mind's going to be all over the place, and you're not going to be able to be fully present as you know that you should be for your next call, if that makes sense. Okay, so you guys should have some sort of pre-call sort of like routine per se, to be a lot more present, forget about the past, be focused on the next prospect, and kind of go from there. And when people are just hopping from call to call, that shows within the first 30 seconds of the call, because their energy is down or their energy is too high as well. You guys might have heard the quote in sales before: not too high, not too low. You need to be somewhere in the middle, to where you're not too high up if you just closed a $10,000 deal, but then you're also not too low if you were objection handling for like 10, 15, 20 minutes and you couldn't get the guy over the line, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So that's something to keep in mind as well. When it comes to like preparation, like physical, tangible things, I do recommend everyone has like a pen and paper. I usually have my pen and paper right here. Um, in regards to that, the reason why I feel like it's important to have a pen and paper is because certain prospects, you never know who at the end of the day, they give you a lot of information. Sometimes they give you a lot of information in a very short period of time. And it's impossible unless you have like insane memory for you to remember all the small important details that are going to move the needle forward in the sales call. So it's important for you to be able to analyze and write down those small details at the same time, because one small detail that could be left out, you don't close the guy. You review that call and you realize that you didn't even know he said that due to the fact that you didn't even write it down. You know what I mean? So it's super important to have something to jot down notes on, not entire essays and paragraphs, but just something to keep aware of. You're not missing any small details, because those small details are going to make a huge difference in the overall sales cycle. So that's what I would put. What I recommend doing as well too, believe it or not, this might sound clumsy to say, there's a lot of closers where they're taking 5, 6, 7, 8 calls, and due to the fact that they don't have a pen and paper, they're not writing down anything. Me personally, I write down the first name in one of the corners of my paper of the prospect's first name, so that now I could remember it. I could say it quite a bit throughout my sales calls, because prospects pay a lot more attention also when you're speaking to them. You're using their name, things of that nature. Even if you just take that to like real life, like the real world, most people like respect you more. Most people appreciate you more when you actually remember their name, because it's like, I see you as a human being. Like I know your first name, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And that same thing applies to the sales world, which is why I think it's super important for you to write down your prospect's first name somewhere on your paper. The clumsy thing I was going to say right now is, you won't believe how many times I've seen closers, they'll go through a whole sales call and 30 minutes, 40 minutes into it, they're like, yeah, remind me your name again. You know how like awkward that is? Like at that point in time, it might sound clumsy to say, but there's actually closers that do that. Yes, that's a small, minute thing, but like the most important thing overall when it comes to like writing down your prospect's name is just using it for them. You know what I mean? Because they feel more. They feel more. I don't want to call it like respected, but like they respect you more. They listen to you more. They know you care. People that use your first name typically are the people that are closest to you, people that care for you, if that makes sense. So that's something I write down in my paper as well. That's just part of like the pen and paper tangible things. The next thing I want to talk about, in case you guys haven't noticed, I upgraded my background a little bit. I'm going to replace this picture, so just ignore it for now. I'm going to get rid of it. I noticed it fell as well. I got to fix that. Anyways, you guys need to have a professional background, okay? Everyone's definition of a professional background is different. Literally, if you feel like, if you're not sure if you have a professional background or not, take a picture of it from where your prospects are looking at, so like through camera on your computer, whatever the case may be. You could upload it into ChatGPT and literally ask ChatGPT, rank my background on a scale of 1 to 10 for a high ticket sales closer for a business to business lead gen offer. You know what I mean? You can get very specific with ChatGPT and like rank it. That's what I did personally. And the only thing it told me to do was get rid of that, which I kind of figured I was going to have to do, but I thought it looked cool for a second. But yeah, you won't believe. No, literally, you will close. This is going to sound stupid, but people are going to want to believe what they want to believe at the end of the day. By having a professional background, by actually having a background looking like you actually like give a shit per se, you are going to close probably 3 to 5% more deals over your entire high ticket sales closing journey. And it might not seem a lot at first, but when you add that up to 1 year to 2 years to 3 years, when you're closing at a $10,000 plus price point, that's thousands and thousands of dollars that you're missing out on due to you not having a professional background, because higher level prospects just respect you more when you do have a professional background, because it shows that you actually care. Like, I'm working in the comfort of my own home, but I still care. You know what I mean? Enough to like make it professional, to actually like brush up. And people, I feel like that's human psychology, but closers nowadays are so lazy, bro, that like it doesn't matter. That they just want to hop on a call and just hope and pray that they're gonna close. So have a professional background. Everyone's definition of professional is background. I say the lamps that I have are pretty cool. You don't have to have them. I've seen a bunch of professional backgrounds without them. Those are pretty cool. I have a little lamp. I have a little lamp right here as well to brighten up like my face a little bit. And then you can also get like a Logitech camera. It's like this. You got it on Amazon, which is what I use for my YouTube videos, but then also for my sales calls as well. That's perfectly fine. And maybe some books in the background and just small stuff like that. You know what I mean? But that's another thing I'm going to add on too, which really has nothing to do with the first 30 seconds. It's like, bro, like actually care enough about your craft, actually care enough about how you're showing up on your sales calls so that you can help as many people as possible. Let's say we took two closers and the skill set is the same, age is the same, they sell exactly the same. But one has a more professional and actually looks like they care background, and the other one doesn't. I think it's obvious who's going to close more deals at the end of the day. And if that's the case, then why not sharpen up your background and actually care about your craft enough to actually sharpen that up? So that's another thing I was going to say. Now, getting into your overall energy into the sales process, your energy should always be positive within the first like 5 to 10 seconds. Like, I'll give you like an example. Let's say I just turn on my camera. Hey, how's it going, John? Just nice smile, not too high, not too low. It's welcoming. It's because I'm creating like a welcoming, opening space, because we're gonna have a true deep conversation. I'm gonna ask them questions that they've either never been asked for in their that they've never been asked by in their entire life, or there's been a very very long time since someone has asked them those questions. So it's almost like this therapeutic sort of like warm welcoming. You don't need to be super monotone. People who usually are like that usually just hopped off a bad sales call, or that's just who they are as a person. And you can portray that sort of energy if you're not doing the inner work, which I've talked about several times before on my past videos, about doing the inner work, becoming a better person, where people just naturally gravitate towards your aura is growing and people just feel open to like speaking to you, because you just bring that sort of safe, welcoming sort of energy across the screen from them. Okay. So your energy within the first 5 to 10 seconds needs to be super warm, super welcoming, but then it's going to get serious once you start saying frame and authority, which is what we're going to start getting into right now. Okay. When you open up the sales call as well, you shouldn't be asking too many fluffy questions. What's a fluffy question? Oh yeah, how's the weather out there? Or you had what you been up to today? Or like whatever closers are asking nowadays. Like, just cut the BS and cut straight to the chase. Okay, so I'm gonna run like a full process for you guys. It's gonna sound a little bit weird because I don't have a prospect I'm speaking to, but I want you guys to at least kind of see it, because this is something I've been truly like working on the past couple months. Because my first months in high ticket sales, I was not focusing on framing and saying authority as much. But I'll do like a little role play so that you. All right, cool. Let's do a quick role play of just like saying frame and saying authority, so that you guys could pretty much just hear it. But this is basically how I've been saying frame and authority. Let's say, now here's the thing about saying frame and authority. This part is still scriptless, even though I kind of have like a general type of framework I use. Depending on the offer, if it's B2B, if it's B2C, if it's older prospects, if it's younger prospects, if it's biz op, if it's not biz op, really depends on how I'm saying frame and like the very minute words I'm using. For this example, I'll use a business to business offer, and let's say it's like lead gen. I don't think it really matters the niche, but let's just say lead gen. Okay. We'll start like from the very beginning. Okay. Hey, how's it going, John? Awesome. Where are you calling from? Georgia? Nice. Cool. Well, yeah, John, I know we got limited time here. Are you ready to dive into everything? Perfect. Cool. Well, excited to dive deep into what you have going on right now in the business, John, and get clarity on where exactly you guys want to be at, because everything we do is super customized and tailored. So we just want to make sure that there is alignment. And if I feel like based off the conversation we have, there is alignment, then I'll go ahead and walk you through our program details to see what makes the most sense for you towards the end of this call. Does that sound good? Cool. Perfect. So, took a look at your application, John. I'm curious, in your opinion, what would you say is the biggest challenge getting more leads for your business? If right you guys now review that one more time, the way I said frame, I think I said John maybe 3 or 4 times. So it's not just helping me remember throughout the rest of the call, but it just shows that I respect him. I see him as a human being, like I'm using your name. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna go the whole sales call, never say his name again, and then maybe say it again when I'm dropping price again. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. Second thing is how I cut through all the I don't not cut through all the BS. There's no BS to cut through. I go straight to the point. Yeah, I know we have limited time, John. Are you ready to jump in? So I'm hopping straight into it because I respect his time, and most importantly, I respect my time as well. Okay, that's another thing. Second thing is also how I mentioned everything we do is so super customized. So I just want to see if we even have alignment in the first place. Okay, so that really just takes away of what do you guys call or what do you guys charge, because we have different programs. Everything we do is super customized. So I want to see if we even come to alignment first before I just walk you through and see what program makes the most sense for your business specifically. Okay, and then I get into opening question. That's pretty much it. Super simple, super straight to the point. Notice how the frame is like super simple to execute on. Do you know what's not easy to execute? It's not easy to execute when you hop on 2, 3, 4. When you hop on your first call of the day and it's a no-show, and then the second call of the day cancels and needs to reschedule, and then the third call of the day ends up payment dipping, and then the fourth call ends up no-showing again, and then the fifth call prospect shows and he ends up being a great prospect, but you end up not closing him. Why? Because your energy is off from the past 4 calls that didn't close or didn't no-show or end up canceling. You don't have some sort of pre-call routine. So everything that's happened throughout the day is now the energy from that is now transferring over into your next calls. And now, even if you did have the right energy, you're not able to be present in this part of the sales call, which is probably the most important part of the sales call, due to the fact that you're not actually setting frame up accordingly. And you just missed out on a $10,000 paid in full due to not really being able to set frame and authority the right way, because you already lost the sale within the first 30 seconds. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It seems simple, seems easy, but when you're mentally tired, when you've hopped on 6, 7 calls by then, it's not easy to keep doing it, which is why it's super important for you to continue doing the inner work that you know that you need to be doing as a high ticket closer, so that you could become more consistent, more disciplined, and doing the small, minute things, because that stuff is going to carry on into your sales calls. But yeah, hopefully that was able to help you guys out. I think I'm going to end the call there. Hopefully this was able to help you guys get a lot more clarity on how I feel like everyone should somewhat, not identically at the end of the day, but like somewhat use this sort of pre-call, core values, principles, and overall mindset you should have going into your sales call, so that the first 30 seconds of your call is good, you're ready to go, you're present, you're detached from the income, you're a curious salesperson, you're not trying to force the call to go anywhere, and you're just cool, calm, and collected, which is the most important physical characteristics and traits that some of the top closers have, which allows them to make a lot of money in the sales industry. But hopefully that was able to help you guys out. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys from watching. Last thing I wanted to share with you guys, I'm also going to share with you guys a prayer I put on my wall as well. It's a reminder for me from here on out in my sales journey of why I'm doing what I'm doing, but also let me just show it to you guys, and I'm sure you guys will be able to understand how it relates to just overcoming and endurance. God, help me to never become tired of doing good things. As I grow closer to you, give me the endurance to serve and love others no matter how I'm feeling. I want to bring those around me closer to you. So please help me to act more like you. In Jesus' name, amen. So the biggest thing with this prayer is endurance for me and giving me the strength to never become tired of doing good things. I feel like just when it comes to any industry, especially sales, sometimes it could start feeling just like a job, and you could really like start to forget why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. So I really think it's important for everyone to be praying and really just asking for God to give you the strength, give you the courage, give you the love, because that's what sales is at the end of the day. It's some of the best salespeople, especially in high ticket sales. The reason they got to that point is because everything they do is out of love. Whether that's the inner work they're doing for themselves and for their family, or whether that's the inner work they're doing for the prospects across the screen from them, because they have to ask the difficult questions that other people typically are never going to ask them in order to get them to transformation for themselves, for their family, and for their future, because they're real life people that they're speaking to. So I wanted to share that prayer with you guys because I thought it's a good reminder of why anything is important. I'm just talking about sales because obviously that's what this channel is for, is high ticket sales. But remember that everything we do is to serve others, just like Jesus came for everyone. He didn't come to be served, he came to serve. So it's a cool reminder for everyone as to it's a great motivator and discipliner to continue doing what you're currently doing regardless of how you're feeling at the end of the day. So I'm gonna end the video off on there. I really appreciate you guys for watching the video and coming back to the channel. I got some exciting news. The next couple of weeks got a big offer launching here pretty soon. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep you guys updated. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, drop a comment. I'll make sure to answer to you guys. And yeah, give me a follow on Instagram, CCompy and JJ. God bless you guys. Hope you guys take care, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.